Alright, so the movie I'm doing is greater. The way I describe it is if the movie The Blind Side and Prince of Egypt had a baby, this would be that movie. So it's based off a true story about a man named Brandon Burlsworth, who was an offensive tackle for the University of Arkansas. He was drafted 3rd overall in the NFL, but just 11 days before his signing, he was killed in a car crash. And that is not a spoiler alert because the movie also goes back and forth to his funeral of his family wondering if there really is a God. Why did he kill such a great man at such a young age? So it relates to Job, you know, in the Job story where it's like, if there really is a God, would I still love him if he took everything away from me, right? But his brother questions his faith, saying, you know, why is my brother dead? You know, I've done everything for God. My brother's done everything for God. Why is he taking him away? And the thing I really like about this is, you know, your stereotypical like Christian movie where it's like, hey, God's real, someone died, okay, that's awesome, he's with God, we love him. Whereas this one's like, I love God, but my brother dies, I don't love him anymore. I gotta rekindle my faith, I gotta do everything over again. So that's what I really like about this. And the real question is, you know, our loss is great, but is God greater? So that's why I love this movie so much.
Great. By the way, just a little spoiler. I'm sorry, Val, but I'm just going to say that I had a friend in my when I was about your age, a friend of mine who was a good student, who was up to become. He went to training camp with the Edmonton Oilers at the time, who were winning all of the Stanley Cups, and got into a car accident on his way, and broke his hip and sternum all the way through this, and had to give up his. He couldn't go to the camp. He became a professor of religious studies. Anyway, okay, Val.
Okay, so my movie is Chariots of Fire. If you haven't heard about it, it's this really cool movie. It's about these two guys who compete in the Olympics in 1924. And it kind of follows two different stories. One is Christian, Eric Liddell, and one is a Jewish man, Harold Abrams. But what's really cool is Eric runs as a way to honor God. He's from a family of missionaries. So when he gets really big into running, his sister's like, why do you not come to church anymore? Like, we have stuff to do. And he's like, when I run, I feel God's power through me. Like, that's his motivation. So one quote is, God made me for a purpose, but he also made me fast. Like, he's using his gift from God, like, in the way he thinks he should be. So this is why, his faith is his motivation. So the whole, plot of the movie is he goes to the Olympics, and the gold medal race is on Sunday. And similar to Hacksaw Ridge, he refuses to run on his Sabbath. So then everybody's like, come on, just do it this one time. And he's like, I run because of my faith for God. Running on Sunday would be going against my faith, therefore taking away my motivation. So, and at one point they ask him, where does your power come from? And he says, my power comes from within, because the kingdom of God is within. Similar to what Mary Magdalene said, when after Jesus came. So a little intertextuality there, which was kind of cool. But basically his teammate ends up giving up his own space in one of the races so that he does get to run, which was kind of just an amazing, generous thing to do. And I do think this is a Christ figure film, because we just see Eric going through all these convictions, and we see the ethics behind his decisions. And then there's so many different lenses you can look at it. One that I didn't even mention is Harold, who's Jewish. There's you look at the anti-Semitism he went through just to get to the Olympics. So this movie is just really good, and it won 4 Oscars, and the soundtrack is really good. It's the iconic song. So yeah.
Perfect, thank you. So Meredith has Life of Pi. Yep.
Life of Pi is a captivating movie with deep spiritual and philosophical ideas that connect with individuals. The movie is about a young man named Pi who finds himself stranded on a lifeboat with a tiger in the middle of the ocean. The movie illustrates the power of having faith. Pi's journey of faith mirrors many biblical figures who were met with adversity, yet kept their faith. His story symbolizes a search for spirituality, just like in many Bible stories. The film touches on themes like resilience and the power of storytelling. Similar to biblical stories, the movie promotes us to consider truth, perception, and human experiences. While Life of Pi may not adapt any biblical stories directly, its exploration of faith inspires profound spiritual reflection and draws many connections to biblical narrative. The film allows the audience to experience a transformation journey of self-discovery through its captivating narrative. Life of Pi not only tells a story, but it enlightens us and allows deep reflection, making Life of Pi the best Bible film of all time.
Thank you. what were you watching the time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. So Nolan has got Iron Man.
Iron Man's about a genius owner of Stark Industries who builds weapons and technology for the U.S. military. And Tony Stark is a very selfish person, only really cared about himself. And I find this religious because it has a great story of redemption. Tony was held captive by a hostage organization, or a terrorist organization, and saw them that they were using like his own weapons and causing havoc around the world. And when he saw that, it kind of changed his mindset and wanted him to create peace and not all this destruction in the world. And he was willing to protect people, and even if it was like putting his own life at risk. It's a common story of like good and evil. And at the end of the film, he was fighting his business partner Stain, who organized the entire terrorist group to attack him. It's kind of like a recreation of Tony's suit that he was using, and it's a David and Goliath type of fight, as Stain's suit that he built was a lot bigger than Tony's, and Tony just had more will and was willing to risk his life and save everyone else.
Perfect, thank you. Jackson has got Bruce Almighty, so Evan Almighty. Who did Evan Almighty the last time? All right, so you fired the shot across his bow, so now you get it to come back at it.
Okay, so my movie is Bruce Almighty. So Bruce Almighty is a film which follows a man, Bruce Nolan, played by Jim Carrey, who feels frustrated with his life and blames God for his struggles. After one bad day, Bruce ends up meeting God, played by Morgan Freeman, and is granted his divine powers. Bruce originally uses his newly gifted powers for noticeably selfish things in his life, with revenge towards his enemies and trying to fix his relationship with his girlfriend Grace, who's played by Jennifer Aniston. But as the movie progresses, he learns important life lessons about love, humility, and the true meaning of power. This film covers a lot of themes that we have covered in class, like theosophy, which revolves around the problem of suffering, how Bruce blames God for his misfortunes. As well, this film includes the character of God, prayer, and the rosary. The rosary plays a role to show the comparison between Bruce and his girlfriend Grace. In times of stress and uncertainty in the film, Grace can be seen holding the rosary while praying to God, whereas Bruce questions God and why he is ignoring him and allowing bad things to happen to him. So overall, I believe Bruce Almighty to be the best Bible film of all time for the way that the religious themes of redemption and second chances is showcased, along with a star-studded cast, lovable characters, and very funny humor throughout the film. These are the reasons why I believe that Bruce Almighty is the best Bible film of all time.
Thank you.